Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and another round of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. We're here at the Brands Hatch circuit in Kent in the United Kingdom. Andrew Woodhouse alongside Adam Bath as usual, with Sam Kumo providing the camera work. And Adam, it's great to be back in the UK. Great to be back at Brands Hatch. This is the Grand Prix layout. I think this is the one the drivers really enjoy out of the two, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to the showdown with just a couple of race meetings to go now. Starting here at Brands, then we're at Nürburgring, then Sonoma, Lime Rock Park, and then ending the regular season in Watkins Glen. So we're pretty much getting to it now. And this is a traditional British circuit, Brands Hatch, used in the British touring cars. So I think the drivers should be pretty familiar with this one.
Yeah, and of course these front-wheel drive touring cars, a lot of fun around here, a lot of fast corners, a lot of not a lot of margin for error as well. Grass and gravel meets your mistakes around here, as opposed to big tarmac runoff areas or anything like that. Of course, Adam, we've got a newfound love and respect for this Audi TCR after the weekends.
Oh yeah, I think I could still tell you every gear you need to be in for every corner of the Nordschleife. Yeah, we both took part in the 24 hours of the Nürburgring. As you can see, the championship standings up on your screen at the weekend. Two of us in one car. We were in the US split, so we started in the middle of the night and finished there. We both had massive stints as well. You did the beginning for the best part of 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I did the closing 5 hours as well, and I think we were both pretty much dead after that. But yeah, so and we won as well. I don't think we've mentioned that. Yeah, we won our class.
Pole position, fastest lap and the win. It's not too bad, really, is it?
Definitely not. No.
All of them done by you. Well, most of it done by you. But yeah, no, it's fantastic stuff, and it really does. It really did show us that this Audi TCR is not just a one-trick pony, not just suited to the sprint races, but to the longer format as well. Quite durable as well, at least in potentially the guys that we had it at the weekend. Looking at the qualifying session, then this is the man who's currently on provisional pole position. Ross McFarlane leads the way ahead of Jake Blackhall. Daniel Nagy is up in third. That's really good from the Hungarian. Dave Baker's in fourth, and it's Pete Dempsey in fifth. So Dempsey, the Irishman, doing pretty well. He's had a couple of good runs. He's been on the channel a few times this week. Michael Avdoka in sixth, David Van Brooks seventh, Jamie Rushworth in eighth, a former champion on a Thursday night. Adam Hedgecock in ninth, and that is Jason Cooper, who's just been knocked down to 11th place, and that is because Jack Sedgwick just put in a time, as has Wojciech Svidovic. So the two of the real championship contenders, Adam, they're up there in the top 5 now.
Really good qualifying by Daniel Nagy. He's able to stay there. Of course, with Brands Hatch being quite a small circuit, the intervals between each driver are going to be exceptionally tight. Some examples of that in the top 20, Williams and Palmer, 19th and 20th, are separated by just 1,000th. Ross McFarlane and Jack Sedgwick just 6,000ths of a second apart in P1 and P2. And in terms of getting into Paddock Hill Bend first, that could be quite pivotal, really. Last night in the iRacing Israel League that I was commentating on, the race was decided by a move in the first corner on the first lap, and I don't think we'll be seeing that here today, but that's what it could hinge on. Of course, we've got reversed grids in race 2 and race 3 too, so anybody that's outside the top 20, they could find themselves back at the front. It looks like we've got Johnny Adam in the car for this one. He races in on the Wednesday night, and the former BTCC driver that won on the road here in the BMW a couple of years ago before getting penalised is in 23rd place. There he is.
Yeah, there is Johnny Adams, Scotsman, and going pretty well. 23rd place is no mean feat in this field. It's a very, very talented field of drivers. Seen by, you see the likes of Ross Balfour down 24th place, Jack Stiles 28th. Sean Gardner has won races in this car in 29th. So it does take some good pace, some good commitment to even be up in the top 25. And Johnny Adam, the independent, going well in qualification. Michael Blake, you see, putting in a personal best lap just behind him. It's 25th place. And, I think that just looking along the list there, is anybody slightly going to be disappointed with where they are at the moment? I'd say Luke Cooper maybe at the moment, a 19th place for him. He was up in the top 5 last week in the qualifying, so I think, and that might be why Adam, he's got a bit of damage on the front of that Audi RS3.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the rules in the ARLTC qualifyings these days. I'm not too sure if it's the rule we've had in the past where it's the one car per quali, so you don't get to tow back and get a new car. I still think if you get back to the pits on foot, you can get a new car. So
You were
maybe
banned from qualifying for that once.
yeah, I got caught out. I think many drivers have in the past, but here he is coming through Stirling's, the left-hander, which heads to clearways. You can make a mistake. If you make a mistake there, you do lose a lot of time. Then clearways here, this right-hander, and then back onto the front straight. I think this is probably one of the first times we've been here in the new car. So it'd be intriguing to see if we get any potential photo finishes here, because if you are side by side into clearways, then it does mean that you can get the switch back on your opponent here.
Now, this track's known for many, many things. You know, it's hosted the British Grand Prix, it's hosted many touring car races, of course, as we see. But probably the best race that was ever done here was back, I think, in 2011, was on two wheels, with the British Superbike title decided between Tommy Hill and John Hopkins, which went to the very last corner. In fact, it went to the line, Adam. It was that close. Jack Burnacle's voice nearly came off. Everything happened.
Jack, that's the best race I've ever seen in my life. I think that's what he said, or something like that.
It was. He said in his best Yorkshire accent. Yeah, but this is what we could see something similar tonight, because this is a brilliant circuit, and we've raced here together on the Sims in this track as well, and we've had cutback after cutback after cutback, slipstream after slipstream. There could be some truly special racing around this track, and as we said at the top of the show, one mistake, you've got the grass waiting to catch you out. You see places like here, places like Dingledells, you see a car actually off in the gravel as I mention it. So the prophecy fulfilled. I think that was Simon Field off in the gravel, but you put one wheel on the grass, Adam, around here, and it could be absolutely deadly for you.
Yeah, the back end section of the circuit, it tends to be fantastic, really. We get one cut back through Hawthorns, the fast right-hander, then we get another one into Westfield Bend, and especially on this iRacing scan of the circuit, Westfield Bend, you can run exceptionally wide there, which does help a bit. Same too at Graham Hill Bend. You've got endless amounts of runoff area there, which will come in handy not just in qualifying but in the race as well. And then we occasionally tend to see lunges into this corner, into Druids, and into Surtees as well, just before we go on to the Grand Prix circuit.
And a few Punterinos there as well.
Oh yeah, not just in this. Druids tends to, if it doesn't go too well, it can be a bit of a log jam. There's a few cars going wide. There's a Team Mad car off there as well.
Yeah, we're looking to see that on the first lap, see whether it all bunches together. It certainly will. Looking at Wojciech Davidovich, then car number 1, 6 times a champion of the Thursday night series. And he took his first title all the way back in 2014. So be very, very eager to close in on the end of the season in better form. Well, he was in good form at the very end of last season, Adam, but it wasn't for the, what am I trying to say? He had a poor first half, is what I'm trying to say. He was down in 26th place in the standings, got in on the wild card by winning races, and ended up taking the title at the final meet.
Yeah, and even then he had to kind of scramble across the line. It was a bit of luck did come into it, both for he and for Jack Sedgwick. Here, last time out at Road America, things didn't start too well, but they got better as the night went on, and he'll be hoping to carry that momentum. And there he is, yeah. Oh, he's right behind him.
Right behind him.
In the mirrors. Check a flag out. Let's see if Wojciech is able to improve on his quali lap. He was 1/10 of a second off. He can't, and neither does Jack Sedgwick, who was he was 100th of a second away from beating Ross McFarlane, but even that wasn't close enough to improve on his personal best.
Yeah, that was it. He was super close. Ross McFarlane on pole again, though, very, very good indeed. He'll be very happy with that, I'm sure. Daniel Nars up in 4th. I'll give the Hungarian driver a hell of a lot of credit there for putting in a lap time like that. We've seen him in the top 15 in qualifying before, but not as high as the top 5. So brilliant stuff by the man driving for Instant Driving Academy. So terrific stuff from them. As we've seen Sean Gardner pulling up, he's one of the last people out on the track. It's just Evdoka and McFarlane, I think, who are making their way back to the pits at the moment. The format, in case anyone's wondering, 3 15-minute races, reverse grid deciding them. And that's when potentially we can get the intrigue and get the chaos. But race 1 is going to be a flat-out sprint, 15 minutes. And Adam, we've seen so many great races when the pace is just flat out in race 1.
Yeah, you may think, oh, that it's the quickest guys at the front. They'll just have their own race in race 1, but it's very much the opposite. At least in pretty much all the race meetings we've done so far this season, they all just pretty much stay stuck together. And that means we get treated to an absolute classic most of the time in race 1. And then, of course, you've got the usual excitement in race 2 and race 3 with the reverse grid. Here is the grid for the first race. Just 6 thousandths of a second separating Ross McFarlane in P1 and Jack Sedgwick second. Jake Blackall, another good qualifying from the Aussie, up in third. And Daniel Nage, I'm going to probably say that is his best quali of the season so far, up in fourth. Then Ross Balfour, who did pretty well at Road America last week. Wojciech Savidovic completing the top half dozen. Then Dave Baker, Pete Harrod, Adam Hadfield for Automech in ninth. It's not often that he's the top Automech car. It's usually Jason Cooper. But good job by Adam there, with Jamie Rushworth in 10th. Then it's Peter Dempsey, Mark Woodhouse in 12th place, highest AM driver. Michael Evdoka, then David Von Breck, then Jason Cooper, there he is. Craig Williams, Adam Hedgecock, Adam McNally, James Holman, and then Luke Cooper in 20th. Ben Palmer 21st, the Irishman Simon Field in 22nd, then Lee Berridge, Sean Gardner, who we were watching at the very end of the qualifying session there in 24th, then Johnny Adam in his debut in this series in 25th, Tim Greven in 26th, Michael Blake, then Paolo Preto, the Brazilian, Rob Barrable, Rob Sutherland, and we've got more cars slugging through the field. Josh Thompson, the first of the cars not to set a qualifying time. All these guys here are set on iRacing, so no surprise there. Tomo with the high I rating, he's at the top in 39th. Then Damian Harris, Tim Stabani, Ash Sutton down there in 42nd. And then all on the back row, all by himself in 49th, with probably just on the exit of Clearways, is Pete Newman. What a massive grid that is.
Yeah, Newman's going to have to get his binoculars out to see the front, but he may also be able to pick his way through the carnage, because there could potentially be some on the way into Paddock Hill Bend and Druids on the first lap. So here we go. 5 red lights, the car's eerily silent. Then they burst into life now as the lights are off. The race is on at Brands Hatch. It's a good start by McFarlane. Terrific start indeed. And Sedgwick moves into second place. Daniel Nash trying to go around the outside of Jake Blackall. Have to watch that net code potentially between he and the Australian. Balfour in 5th, Savidovic in 6th. 7th for Baker, 8th for Hatfield, Rushworth 9th, 10th Pete Harrod. And it looks like they're through Paddock Hill fairly well, and just a bit of a concertina, as we said, in Druids, but not bad at all, Adam.
Yeah, good start by everybody there. It could have been chaotic going into Druids, but everyone managed to find their own bit of track, and they're away down the bottom straight and into Surtees here. A bit of side-by-side action. Looks like Peter Dempsey is side-by-side with Pete Harrod in a CQR Club car there. There they are. And behind them, he's got Woodhouse and Evdoka going at it as well.
Yeah, it did. This is the part of the course where it gets quite hairy, it gets quite narrow, and very, very quick indeed going through the going through Hawthorne Bend and places like that.
Into Westfield Bend, then it looks like Evdoka's going to win the battle for now. There you go. And he's just about clear of the Team Mad car. Plunging down Dingledell into Sheen Curve here, the right-hander, re-profiled over the years. Used to be like a quick S-bend in the F1 days. And now into Sterling's, the left-hander, 90-degree left. Looks like Ross Balfour's been able to get by Daniel Nage. He's up a place, and in fact Daniel Nage has lost 2 places. He must have got offline at Sterling's. He's back at the inside of Wojciech Savidovic. Oh. That's brave.
This is indeed going to wheel with Wojciech Savidovic is not for the faint-hearted. I have done that myself.
Over the time of line, first lap in the books, it's McFarlane, Sedgwick, and he's chewing away at the rear boot there of Wojciech Savidovic is Daniel Nage. Dave Baker now fancies his opportunity, but the inside is very quickly chopped off. And now they're all starting to queue behind these guys, all the way back to this guy, Harrod, in 10th place.
Yeah, Harrod going well as usual, fairly consistent in that position. Is Pete Harrod, and looking good for good spot for the reverse grid.
Into Surtees we go again. Here's a close scrap. This is between Craig Williams and Adam McNally. McNally in the Automech AM team, who did very well at Road America last week. They had tons of guys up there in the top few positions. Behind him is David Von Breck, the Belgian, and then Adam Hedgecock in 18th place. And then after that, it's one of the early movers. 3 places gained for Simon Fields. The Booster Motorsport car has gained quite a few places. There's a bit of dirt is kicked up through Hawthorne. And now into Westfield Bend again. You can see that they can run a bit wide, but most of the drivers just using just the curbs through that reasonably quick right-hander.
Yeah, Adam Hedgecock, centre of the picture there. He's got his teammate David Van Broek in front of him, and his other teammate Simon Field actually behind him. So it's good for Boosted at the moment, with 3 cars in the line. Automate car of Cooper just behind, and Holman is in there too. Ross McFarlane, then you see looking back from the rear of the Texas Pittside Motorsport car that he has got company, and that is in the shape of Jack Sedgwick. And he will not hesitate, Sedgwick, if he gets an opening. Blackhole sets the fastest lap on lap 2. And you see the CQR car there, Adam. He's all over them.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I could keep Cedric behind me for 25 minutes, looking in the mirror and seeing that red and white Apex car just hounding you for lap after lap.
25 seconds would be an achievement, I think, for either one of us, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We proved ourselves at the Nürburgring. You can do a free stints in an Audi TCR car in one go, but for the love of God, don't.
If you get the choice, say no to that one.
On board with this guy, Jake Blackhall. He's from the land down under, and he's in 3rd place at the moment. Got a very decent view of the fight for the lead, and he himself could get involved if they start having a scrap. But of course, we are only we're just less than a quarter of the way into this one, so everybody trying to make sure that they keep the car on the road at this moment in time.
Well, can you hear that thunder? And that's the Audi TCR cars in front of him. McFarlane and Sedgwick trying to stay ahead of Blackhall. Now, Blackhall, for those who don't know, he's one of the quickest drivers in the series on sort of outright speed, but he does seem to get really, really bad luck, and a lot of that does stem from the fact that he is from Australia, and he does get the slightly poorer connection on these servers.
Yeah, it's not just because he's from Australia. Yeah, the
yeah,
servers.
That's not the reason. We're not slanging his country off, but it's the internet speed between Australia and Europe that is oftentimes the problem for Blackhall. But he's proven himself in the past. He's a race winner on Thursday nights. We know what he can do. Daniel Nars sets the fastest lap then, continuing his good form. The Hungarian driver, the only other Hungarian touring car driver I can think of is Norbert Mikulis, but everyone might hear of Daniel Nars after tonight. You never know if he wins this one.
Oh, definitely, and he's been improving as the season's gone on here. And here he is in P6. He's got Wojciech Slivovic just in front of him. Granted, he did lose a few places at Stirling's on the opening lap, but since then he's been keeping right up with the reigning champion. And now as we go down the hill, he's not going to be close enough to get moved on into Hawthorne, but he's keeping a former champion in Dave Baker at bay. You can hear the car sliding as we go through Hawthorne Bend there, but there's enough grip in those tyres to make sure that he doesn't go offline or go wide at all. You see that they take a bit of the curb and a bit more on the inside of Westfield Bend. Now back up the hill towards Sheen. See how much curb they take here. There's a bit of a bump just before you turn in, and then Stirling's Bend here. This is where he made the mistake earlier, wrestling with the car under braking, and using a bit of the curbs on the exit, and now on our way towards clearways again. So it's a pretty short lap here, probably one of the shorter ones that we go to on the ARLTC calendar for this season, and that was a wild ride with Daniel Nars as we come over the line again.
Yeah, he's really wringing the neck of that Audi, certainly at the moment. He's Nars doing an excellent job out there for Instant Driving Academy. Dave Baker behind him, that's another former champion. Adam Hatfield is in 8th for Automech. So, hey, when the Coopers have struggled comparatively with last time, Adam Hatfield stepped up and he's taken their place as the leading Automech driver. Seems like there's been a problem maybe for James Holman in the middle of the. It might have just been a bit of a backing up situation at Druids again as everybody gets smushed together into the slow hairpin, but McFarlane's still holding his ground ahead of Jack Sedgwick. Ross McFarlane is absolutely no mug at all. He spearheaded the team's championship victory a couple of seasons ago, Adam.
He did, yeah. I had some good drivers with him that time, and yeah, very happy with that. This time he'll be eager to go for a title. Now here is James Holman. What looks like he's just got past Simon Field, and indeed he has, and so too, up the inside there, goes Ben Palmer. So Simon Field demoted back to 20th place, but he's trying to fight back, and he's got a good cutback here. On the inside of Ben Palmer into Sheen Kirby goes, and that looks like he's got the position done, unless Palmer wants to go around the outside, which I don't think will work. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, nicely done indeed. It's brave to go through there and through Dingledale with side by side with anybody. As they look at them, how close they are, just centimetres away from rubbing wheel arches, might even be millimetres as he as Field bounces over the curb, goes almost into the side of Palmer. I think there might have been a slight nudge. He's got the inside for Paddock Hill Bend. You can go around the outside here, Adam, but you will be.
Ooh.
Oh, and then bang wheels again. Take that.
The inside almost was Luke Cooper, the Pro-Am points leader. Did fancy his chances there. Watch out for Sean Gardner. He might appear on our outside. Look how late on the brakes Cooper is. The car sliding about all over the place. That is reasonably easy to keep control of, but
oh, and that's why. That's why
yeah.
he was so late on the brakes. Adam, Sean Gardner was right there.
Well, it's the invisible threat for us, but Cooper definitely knew that Gardner was there, and he had to turn his attention to him. Back with the leaders though, and they're starting to make a little bit of a breakaway here from Jake Blackhall.
Oh, and not only that, but Cedric's trying to make a break for the lead because he's trying to go around the outside. He's going to struggle there through Hawthorne and then into Westfield goes McFarlane, still holding on to the lead of this race. 20-minute races here in the ARLTCR, the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship.
It's a great corner if you get it right, Sterling's there. And Blackhall, he may be 6/7 of a second away, but that gap might just start to get a little bit bigger now as he goes into the right-hander at Clearways, back onto the front straight again. Ross McFarlane will have reasonable confidence that as long as he doesn't make a mistake, Jack Sedgwick should not be able to get by. He just needs to make sure that he defends at the right time and doesn't defend clear air, otherwise he's going to slow himself down. And back Sedgwick and Sedgwick into the rest of the field. So at the moment, Sedgwick not eager to have a move up the inside into Druids, but these two, as we've been saying, are starting to pull away just a little bit.
He knows that P2 is a tremendous result though, regardless. I think for Cedric, and he doesn't want to throw points away. He knows how close the championship fight was last year. He will be well aware of how many points he lost it by, and it wasn't many. Ross Balfour going for third place then. Blackhall's pace has just kind of left him a little bit in the last couple of laps. Comparatively, at least, it was only a couple of tenths on the previous lap round, but yeah, not quite as quick as maybe he was at the very start. And Balfour on the prowl then, the man from Northern Ireland, trying to get to the bottom step of the podium today. Yeah. Savidovic is there, and Daniel Naj is Savidovic cannot get rid of Daniel Naj. Oh, Cooper, there's a problem for that's Jason Cooper off.
Oh no!
Into the wall, and he's lost his wing.
Lost the rear, completely lost the rear assembly there. That's a massive shame for Jason Cooper, who of course was leading the points at Road America, and it's not gone at all.
I've just seen the back of the car. It wasn't just the wing, was it? That's it.
Oh no. Yeah, if anything was in there, it must have blown away by now. Here's a replay of it. He's got two cars fighting in front. That would be Avdoka and Harridge, you're right, yeah. Oh, he gets sideways.
Oh, he gets turned.
He checks up, and yeah, there's the turn 3 car. Might have been Peter Dempsey on that occasion.
Yeah, he was sort of having his own issue, and then what's that? That's a big crash for Gardner.
And the wheel's gone. He's done.
That's a huge crash for Sean Gardner at the entry to Paddock Hill Bend, and this could only be, most likely, Adam, a quarter panel. I would say. Is that with Johnny Adam?
Slightest touch with Johnny Adam.
Wow, and that wheel going absolutely flying. Front assembly of the car flopping about. The
marshals didn't seem too fussed about it. They were having their own chat on my screen as that unfolded. I remember one of the Halfords Hondas having a big one there many years ago. But here is
obviously socially distancing themselves from any work that needed to be done as well. Oh, and my goodness!
Wow, that was
Woodhouse, was it, getting turned?
Oh yeah, managed to hold on to it though. Front wheel drive. Hold your foot down on the throttle and it'll bring itself back around, and that's what he did there. Side by side between the Craig setup shop car and Adam McNally. That's Craig Williams getting overtaken there by the red and white AM driver, and that's McNally up to 15th. Hedgecock is past Williams too, so Williams down to 17th place now.
That's the scrap, is that though? McNally versus Williams. It's one that's not for the faint-hearted, as Gardner's crash and drop down the order is definitely confirmed. And he will not be getting the reverse grid pole, that is for sure. So, and if you do finish one lap down or fewer, that's when you get put into essentially the draw for the reverse grid, and that's Hedgecock and Williams having a set 2 at the hairpin.
Well, you did predict it, and it did happen. And that's Williams ahead now, but it does mean that Holman, Palmer, and Luke Cooper aren't too far away from scrapping either. Back at the lead, it's very, very close. Less than a tenth of a second between Ross McFarlane and Jack Sedgwick.
Oh yeah, and Sedgwick's trying to make this one work around the outside. I think he might find it difficult because it does mean that McFarlane can do just that and chuck it into the corner at Westfield. This is the bit where you need, let's be honest, massive balls to try and go around the outside here, because he can so easily be on the grass. Oh, and Sedgwick, that's a wonderful overtaking move, but can he hold it? Brilliant pass. McFarlane's got the cutback though, Adam, and into clearways they go side by side again.
Yeah, we saw similar battles to this earlier on. This time Sedgwick just gets it done, but there's going to be the cutback again this time. Oh, he covers the inside line there.
What's Balfour? He's got so much more momentum than these two.
He's 2 tenths of a, he's within striking distance. There he is. We're on board with him. He's got the best seat in the house for this fight for the lead. Sedgwick finally gets it done. He leads the lap. He has the lead, and now the glasses and the shoe is on the other foot as Ross McFarlane tries to set about getting the lead back.
Indeed he will, and does he? How much does he risk, McFarlane, trying to get this lead back from Jack Sedgwick? I feel like he might risk a fair bit, because I think it was him that said that he hasn't had the greatest season in the world so far. I don't know if Ash Sutton has had a problem. Jason Cooper's in the wall. I don't know if Sutton might have been involved in that. I saw something to do with his name on the timing screen, but not entirely sure.
Sutton is 2 cars behind us, isn't he? There is 116, but there's a car in between them.
And that's Johnny Adam.
Oh, bumper to, yeah.
Again, there's the car behind is not really allowing for the checkup, isn't it, really?
Well, it's bad if he names Cooper, because that's both Coopers now with the rear ends of their car missing.
And I still can't tell which one's which on there.
Yeah. Here is Paolo Preto, who is in 38th place. That could be important in terms of the reverse grid. He's got Mark Johnston, Kip Stevens, and John Roberts all in front of him there. Those are the 3 cars just in front of you.
Yeah, Preto was quite high up, wasn't he, last week in the qualifying? I think he qualified top 15. He's struggling a little bit more today with the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, but I'm sure that it's a learning experience for him, the fiercely forward driver from Brazil. And how are we looking, I wonder, in the battle for the AM category? It looks like Mark Woodhouse might be ahead of that one at the moment.
And there he is. And you're right, yeah, it's Woodhouse, McNally, Hedgecock in the top 3 of the AM category, and then it's Cooper and Field in 4th and 5th. So those are the guys doing well there. And of course, the reverse grid, that's when the AM drivers get a more of a big opportunity to try and get an overall podium or an overall race win in this series.
Yeah, if this was the Indy circuit, I'd say that you've got a pretty good chance of holding people off for so many laps. But on the Grand Prix circuit, you've got a couple more long straights, which just allow obviously the faster drivers to build the momentum up, get the slipstreaming done, get the overtaking done at the right times.
Well, you know, from racing on the Indy circuit, patience starts okay in race 1, but by the time you get to race 2 and race 3, the patience is gone, and you're just like, move out of the way.
Yeah, for the attackers and the defenders. So.
Yeah.
That is true. I started 6th that day and took the win, but it was very hard fought indeed. You had to be to have your wits about you on that one, certainly. I was nearly put into the wall a couple of times on that race, as Josh Thompson, for the first time, gets the eye of our TV cameras, and he now is hunting down Johnny Adam, who has had an eventful night in the ARLTC so far.
This is a tasty scrap, isn't it? Johnny Adam, former BTCC driver, Josh Thompson and Ash Sutton all scrapping it out. Oh, the inside! Thompson hits that!
Him. But Adam catches it. And he says, have that, young man. Through he goes.
Oh, no,
he's on the grass. No, that's not going to last, is it, out there?
He's off this time. And this is David Van Breck looking at the inside, the Belgian versus the Scot. and the Belgian is through into 23rd place.
Cutback, cheeky cutback from Johnny Adam. What can he do? He's side by side with Van Broek here. It's going to be brave going round. Oh my word, that's close. He's going to try around the outside up at Hawthorne. You know what? I think he's going to get this one done, you know. If he carries the speed. Yes, lovely move. Good work by Adam. You can hear all sorts of tyre scrubbing and all sorts of stuff going on ahead. It looks like that's a right scrap, isn't it, between, well, Holman, Cooper, and just ahead of them you've got Williams, Hedgecock and Palmer.
Luke Cooper's managed to regenerate a rear end. So that's good for him, and he's got Holman in front of him.
These teams are getting good at the repairs. I tell you, they can even do it while the car's going round.
Oh
no! Oh, what's going on? That's Naj, and that's also Baker and Hadfield. That was a real mess, wasn't it? But Daniel Naj holds on to 6th place.
They all got stuck together then for a brief moment. Druids, and it's not over yet. Naj just had to chop off the inside. Oh, he's opened it up again. And Hadfield very nearly said, thank you very much for opening the door.
Look at Baker going around the outside in Surtees. You don't see that very often. David Baker, former champion, trying to get the run on those, but he's kind of boxed in here. And if Adam Hadfield's smart, he will just run it all the way around the outside. And he has indeed. That's staved off Baker. Can he stave off Daniel Nars as well? Side by side, this is wonderful stuff. Once again through this infield section, it provides terrific racing, Adam, and that is almost too close to call.
Into Sheen Curve.
Oh!
They touch and they carry on, and it looks like Nars might have the position here. Oh, they hit
he's
again.
hit him. Cedric's into the final corner, Adam. I don't know if it's going to be the checkered flag or not. It is. The checkered flag's coming out. And it's going to wave for Jack Cedric. He takes the win by half a second over Ross McFarlane. And then Ross Balfour in 3rd place gets on the podium. But look at this behind. Oh, my word. It's Hadfield versus Baker. Who's going to take it? And it's going to be just David Baker, I think, on the line. That was not by very much at all.
No, it was by just over 100th of a second. Baker getting his customary 6th place. I don't think I've actually said Baker in 6th for a while, so welcome return for that. A position there for Tim Stabani. It looks like he might have just got past Damien Harris. Yes, he did, for 26th place on the run to the line. So a good race by the German there. Tim up 15 places to finish in 26th. He could potentially be one of the contenders we need to look out for the reverse grid in that black, white and green Audi car there.
Yeah, wild Kevin Carlisle appeared as well. He finished in 28th place after starting, I think, in 45th. It didn't go well for a race winner a couple of weeks back, Nathan Davies. I think he ended up crashing out in the end. The driver's weaving around, having a little bit of a mess around on the in-lap.
Good drive by Jack. Yeah, Jack Sedgwick will be pretty happy with that. Started 2nd, but he made his move about halfway through the race, and it was a good move as well. It was around this part of the circuit, around the outside of this corner here at Westfield, around the outside of Ross McFarlane, and he kept that going through Sheen Curve, and then once he got to the inside at Stirling's, he was in P1.
Yeah, and it was a hell of a move by Cedric to take the win. That was one of the best of the season so far. Really, really good stuff by the Apex Racing team driver. What a good start. What a good start to the proceedings here at Brands Hatch. And we always say this for those at home who've never watched us before. Welcome, of course. We always say that this is the well-behaved one of the day.
Oh, yeah. Of course, because all of these drivers, they'll be in the midfield for race 2 and race 3, and they'll still need to get points on the board. So they are going to have to get inventive, because as we've seen in the first race today, overtaking is at a premium as Jack Cedric goes for a meeting with the brick wall of the pit lane as he brings the Towsy back to the pits. And we'll find out who's going to be on the pole for race 2 in a moment, but we've got the official results to go through first. And they'll be on your screen any moment now, and we'll see who's finished where from first race of the day. Oh, okay, I can't see them, but I'll bring them to you anyway. Oh, it's because I'm looking at the sim and not the overlay. Sorry. Jack Cedric wins the race. Ross Balfour second. Ross McFarlane second. Ross Balfour in 3rd. So a good day for Ross fans there. Wojciech Savidovic in 4th, Jake Blackhall in 5th. He dropped from 3rd down to 5th in the end after a few position changes midway through the race. David Baker in 6th, then Adam Hadfield, Jamie Rushworth, Daniel Nage. His good qualifying didn't help him too much in the race. He drifted back to 9th in the end after late contact on the final lap. We were watching it with Adam Hadfield. 10th for Pete Harrod. 11th for Michael Evdoga. Peter Dempsey followed him all the way home in 12th. Mark Woodhouse wins the Pro-Am category for this one. Adam McNally finishing in 2nd. Then Craig Williams, Ben Palmer, Adam Hedgecock completing the Pro-Am podium in 17th. James Holman for Turn 3 Motorsport Yellow in 18th. And then Luke Cooper and Southern Field complete the top 20. Josh Thompson and Ash Sutton flying through the field together. Thompson was in the 24 Hours at the Nürburgring as well at the weekend in this very car, I think. Actually, no, scrap that. Dave Von Breck in 23rd place, Lee Berridge 24th, Tim Stabani 25th, Damien Harris pipped at the line there by the German in 26th, Kevin Carlisle in the SDK Gaming car 27th, and then Michael Blake in 28th place. 29th for Nicky Meredith, Matt Bunn in 30th place. Scott Malcolm, he got 2 reverse grid poles at Road America last week. I think one of them he jumped the start, and then one of them he was involved in a bit of contact. He finished in 31st in this one. 32nd for Jason Cooper, the championship leader, I think, going into this one. Kip Stevens, then Mark Johnston, Tim Greven for Craig Setup Shop in 35th. Rob Barrable 36th, then Mats Borger, the Norwegian. Paolo Preto for Fiercely Forward in 38th place. 39th for John Roberts and then Rob Sutherland. Jack Stiles, Tyler Vickery 42nd. Paolo Bremer, the Italian. Johnny Adam in the end was over a minute behind. Not too sure what happened to the Scotsman there. Rowan Clace over a minute behind too. Nathan Davis 2 laps down in the end, so no points for him. Sean Gardner 6 laps down. Rob Graham 9. And then that is it. No, Pete Newman 13 laps down. So not too sure whether he took the start at all, did Pete there, because he started at the back and finished at the back as well in 49th place.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite what happened to the multiple-time race winner. We'll have to see if he takes the start for the second race. Right. Well, for the first time tonight, we're bringing our esteemed director Sam Kumar, who is going to be spinning the reverse grid wheel. And Sam, well, if it's a big reverse grid here, could see a very, very interesting race.
Yeah, let the madness begin. It's too bad it's not the shorter circuit, so we still have at least some space. But let's just spin it. And it is full -4.
Right, so full -4. So that is going to be
Jack Stiles, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, Jack Stiles on the pole then for race 2, with Rob Sutherland 2nd, John Roberts up in 3rd, and Paolo Preto, the South American, is going to be starting in 4th, with Mats Borger up in 5th place for race 2.
Yeah, look out for Rob Barrable as well. He was quite good in one of the reverse grid races last week. Right, everybody, we'll be back after the commercial break for 2 more rounds from the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship here on the iRacing Esports Network. We'll see you then. Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and another round of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship from the Brands Hatch circuit in the United Kingdom. Well, before the break, we saw a terrific race won by Jack Sedgwick. And this one, well, this grid has been reversed by our reverse grid wheel. So we are going to see quite some fireworks, I think. Andrew Woodhouse and Adam Bath here for Apex Racing TV. Sam Kumo on the cameras bringing you all the action from round 2. And a second 20-minute race, Adam, with the following grid, which looks quite tasty, I have to say.
Yeah, it does, and it's great if you're a Pro-Am driver because I think only 2 of the top 12 are in the Pro category, so a good opportunity for them to get a podium or potentially a race victory around a circuit which we've seen in race 1 isn't too easy to overtake on. Jack Styles on the pole, then it's Rob Sutherland, Roberts, Pareto, Borger, Barrable, Tim Greven, Mark Johnston, Kip Stevens and Jason Cooper completing the top 10. You'll have to go down all the way to, well, outside the top 30, I think, to find our race 1 winners, the likes of Jack Sedgwick and whatnot. So they've got their work cut out massively. In fact, so have many of the drivers towards them. Yeah, dear me. Watch out, folks. Here we go.
There we go, the calm before the storm then. The best technique in the Audi is to not rev the car before the start, but rev it now as the lights are off. The race is on for the second time tonight. Great start by Styles, great start by Roberts. He's managed to get up from 3rd into 2nd. 3 wide into Paddock Hill Bend behind. That's Tim Greven, the Craig Setup shop car alongside Rob Barrable. The Irishman, there's a spinner, and it's Paolo Preto. He's been collected, he's spinning right in front of right in front of the rest of the pack. I think a boosted car has gone headlong into him. There's another one off at the side. I think it's Simon Field this time.
Yeah, one of them was off on the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, and one I could not see Paolo Preto at all. And yeah, you're right, it's Simon Field. Bremer,
Woodhouse,
sorry, just to go back to the pits.
I think it was Woodhouse actually in the Team Mad car, maybe not a boosted car that time.
Onto the straight we go, side by side there. That's Stabani and Meredith. Stabani, the German, getting forced out wide. There's a CQR Pure Sims car off there as well. I think that was Ash Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton losing out a little bit there down the straights. Side by side into Hawthorne Bend, you've got Palmer and Thompson. And this is the problem you've got. Well, I say problem, it could be fantastic, Adam. You've got the likes of Palmer, Sutton, Thompson in this midfield. They're really hard charging in the early going, and they're all fighting each other. It's all... Oh, bang! Surely that's a crash. Oh, and it's broken suspension for Sutton.
Oh dear, yeah, the car won't turn. You saw him, the front wheels were spinning and nothing was happening. Jack Styles, though, he still leads. There he is. We haven't seen much of the leaders because so much has been going on in the midfield, but it's he that leads the first lap, and then it's John Roberts seconds. Tim Greven up in 3rd, a potential bit of bubbly for him after the first lap. And 4th is Rob Barrable with Cooper 5th.
Somebody was going very, very sideways indeed. I think it was Matt Bunn, who might have got a little tap coming out of clearways. And he's battling it out with the American Kevin Carlisle, although very, very wide. And the exit of Paddock Hill, big smash into the wall. Did he hit the wall?
He did, yeah, he hit the wall, bounced back across the track, and he didn't collect anybody, did Matt Bunn.
He hasn't got any damage either.
The only thing that's gone is the left door mirror, and that's it.
Oh, there you go. It looked like a huge hit. And yeah, Bunn actually surviving that one, so he'll be what is it, thanking the iRacing gods for that one. Here's the replay then. We're on board with Matthew Bunn, CQR Sim Sports. He's on the outside of Michael Blake there in the Team Man car. Goes into the gravel. Oh, bang, yeah. Glancing. I mean,
wow.
Maybe a bit more than a glancing blow, Adam, but well, they survived it, that's for sure.
Just amazing. Oh, off. It's Kevin Carlisle. SDK Gaming car going for a wild ride through Westfield Bend, trying to find a bit of open air to get back into the field, really, and I think he might just do so now. He's behind Ben Palmer and just ahead of Craig Williams. He's now looking at the inside into Sterling's, and he's through 2. It's an assault on Kevin Carlisle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Carlisle needed to be really fairly aggressive, I think, defending that inside line after he come back on the track, because he surely would know that Craig Williams will be up the inside at the first possible opportunity. Adam Hedgecock's in behind them in 23rd place as Michael Evdoka Then in the blue Texense Fitline Motorsport car, he's trying to come through as well, but Kevin Carlisle's got a great run. And the Ricmatech Sports Car Series champion going around the outside of Evdoka, and Carlisle's into the gravel, and that's the same, that's Matt Bunn territory out there. He'll do well to miss the tyre wall, he has this time, but has he missed all the other cars? Yes, he has.
3 wide through Druids.
Oh,
Remarkable.
Automech car in the gravel, Adam, and that's Robert Graham.
Oh,
No, what's happened there?
Wheels detached itself. Oh dear.
We know that people are trying to make their own activities in lockdown, but homemade pinball on iRacing isn't really the thing that we had in mind. Off goes
Dave Baker. That's at Graham Hill Bend, isn't it? He was 6th in race 1, and now he's all the way down in 40th in race 2. Of course, he was near the rear because of the reverse grid race, because of the reverse grid wheel anyway. But that's not going to help.
He was out in Tom Onslow Coldland out there.
Oh yeah.
But he sort of he just sort of appeared and came back on without any damage. So I wonder if he just got maybe spun off, and then he's just kept it just quiet until everyone else goes through. Who knows? But Jack Styles has the lead, and he has it by 9/10 of a second. And a great lap by him. Terrific lap by Styles.
The pro drivers have started to make their way forward. Grevin and Cooper are now 2nd and 3rd, so they've managed to get in on the action, and there they are. But they still have some work. They still have a bit of work to do to get to Jack Styles. Styles 6/10 of a second up the road. Then it's Roberts, Barable, Stevens, and Mads Borger. The Automech car Stevens does look like he's under pressure from the Norwegian going into Druids. He might just be through, you know. Oh, he's very close.
Oh. Yeah, I think Stevens is still on the inside, I think. 2-time champion trying to go through. No, car 111 shoving Anderson out wide. And yeah, he's going to have to try and recover from that. He's now going toe-to-toe with Michael Blake, who's hitting Rob Sutherland, I think.
And Jack Styles has lost the lead. Tim Grevin is through, Cooper is through as well, and they're going for the lead and so on.
Unbelievable. Styles had it covered coming out of Druids, but then something must have gone wrong between Graham Hill and Hawthorne. But through goes, well, looking at least, is John Roberts on the inside of Jack Styles, but Styles manages to stay ahead of the boosted car. Nicky Meredith dropping down the order, then the Irish driver. Down to 19th, now 20th, so I'm not sure what's happened to Meredith out on the circuit, but Evdoka's now passed him into 20th place. Grevin then leads, Tim Grevin. Oh, and off, and that is Craig Williams. That's the Craig Self Shop team principal. He's got his face on the car. His face might not be in such good shape as what it was at the start, though, after that crash.
I wonder if it's probably in a better shape than your face after the start line crash in the Kia all those years ago. Meanwhile, Ross Belfort.
That was at this circuit as well, wasn't it?
He's sitting pretty at the moment.
Well, the crash wasn't at this circuit, but this circuit was the one where Roy Viveke will be having nightmares for years after just staring at my face for 15 laps on the back of the car, and that was I think that was James Leggett's fault, if I remember rightly. Now, Docker wide, very wide indeed, and he's lost a lot of places. He was in 20th, wasn't he? He's lost a lot of spots there as Docker. Jake Svidovic down in 27th place as well, not still going super well for him.
Yeah, I think we're getting shown today that it's very difficult to make sure, not just that you start an overtake, but that you finish it, because there's so much side-by-side action going on around here. You try and get a move done here, and then you end up just wasting time and then end up settling back behind. And he's got Adam Hadfield for company. Wojciech Svidovic has only gained 11th place to start this one. Ross Balfour's gained 17. He's off. Is Mats Borger Andersen, the Norwegian, off a Sheen curve, and he's just been passed by Dean Berridge, so he's down to 18th place. Yeah,
Berridge going well. He's about when he started. He started in 18th, but still going pretty decently in the boosted car. Two of the Turn 3 Motorsport cars going to battle. That's Dempsey and Meredith. And Meredith was running a little bit higher up, seemed to have a mistake, but Peter panic up there. Meredith sawing at the wheel there as he tries to correct the car under braking. You've got Borger, Anderson, and Dempsey's having a look. He's having a think about it. putting his car in the best possible position just in case the drivers ahead get a bad exit from Druids, and that was the case because Anderson was boxed in behind Berridge. Oh, this is the part of the circuit that gives me flashbacks. Down the inside, they're looking. Daniel Nage here, look. Oh, we know he's got the pace, and he's turned Meredith, and he finally gets out of the throttle. It took him a while to realise what was going on, I think, there, Daniel Nage, but in the end managed to keep it pointing in the right direction and not to turn Nicky Meredith. So good driving in the end by Nage. And Balfour, is still in there. Nage goes onto the grass and a tiny bit of gravel to boot. And this is getting a bit messy, Adam, and it's coming to a head. Wojciech Sabinovic is in there as well with I think that's Cooper and Sedgwick.
Nathan Davis is in there as
it's
well.
Hitchcock and Davis, sorry, yeah. Oh, Nage.
Oh, Nage has been nudged,
Oh,
and he's nudged.
Nathan Davis.
The Welshman forced out wide there. A change for the lead as well. Jason Cooper now leads from Tim Greven, so the Automech car is now in the lead with just under half of the race in the books. We'll do this a replay of what happened to see that change of lead there. There's so many overtakes that go on a lap. It's probably hard for Sam, our cameraman, to filter through all the overtakes. Scott Malcolm's dropping down the order as well. He was up in the top 8. He's now down to 10th. But yeah, change of lead. Automech's Jason Cooper leads. Here's a replay. It was at this exact spot a lap ago. See what happened here.
Greven just, well, he doesn't really do anything wrong there, but Cooper just let on the brakes into Surtees. And a block pass. Oh, he tries the cutback, does Greven. Not quite through for the Craig setup shop car, so yeah, good move by Cooper.
Fight for third. Final spot on the podium at stake here. Jack Stiles, who was leading in the early stages, has now got John Roberts for company. Credit to John, he's been able to keep with these guys in this one. He knows his way around Brands Hatch, that is for sure. One of the veterans of this series, and he has got a potential spot on the podium within his reach. 2 Pro-Am drivers going at it.
Former AM champion John Roberts, and he's the second highest placed AM driver behind the man you're looking at there, Jack Stiles. So tremendous stuff. And I wonder if we could maybe go on board with a lap maybe with John Roberts.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh, in fact, well, look, my goodness, what on earth is going on in there?
Well, into clearways.
How do you call this?
So we've got Ross Balfour, he's going at it with Adam McNally here, and it looks like he's just about clear. He's trying to get past one of the Turn 3 Motorsports cars. That's Nicky Meredith. In front of him, trying to scamper away, is Lee Berridge. And outside goes Balfour. Come back as well.
Clear. He was barely clear, was Meredith, but he got across just in time. A few cars let on the brakes. Oh, flying in there was the Automatic car of McNally. And he absolutely smashes Balfour. Oh, there's another Automatic car crashed on the way down to Graham Hill Bend. Now they're hitting each other in the middle of Graham Hill Bend. And that was Evdoka and Wojciech Sabinovic, I believe.
Yeah, and the second Automatic car that was off was Adam Hadfield, so if you named bad news for anyone who's got a name called Adam in this one.
Oh.
Jake Blackhall going around the outside of Wojciech, who might
have
some
Daniel Nage, it's going to be bad. Oh, they just about got away with that one, my goodness.
Well, Instant Driving Academy's Daniel Nage there up into 29th place. It's not over yet because you've got Ross Balfour trying to get some positions back. Here's Mats Borger Anderson battling away with Adam Hedgecock.
Yeah, and Hedgecock was hitting race 1. Decides to hold the middle of the course into Sterling's Bend. He gets a good run out there, and he should hold on to clearways. Jason Cooper sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 9, and he's gained only half a tenth on Tim Greven, but it's 0.4 of a second now, so not too bad at all for Jason Cooper. Good battle going on at the front of this race. Round 2 of the day then here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship here on the iRacing Esports Network, presented by Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse and Adam Bath bring you the commentary, and Sam Kubo on the cameras. And Adam, well, the reverse grid race, it's been manic, hasn't it? It's really caused some fantastic racing and been a madcap action in the midfield.
Oh, definitely, and this is all important, of course. Points are at stake and potential reverse grid spots as well. We've got one more race to come after this, as it was a fight for a spot in the top 6. It's Thompson versus Barrable here. Barrable might have just gone off on the exit of Hawthorns. He has, so that's a place for James Thompson up the inside into Westfield Bend he goes. Oh, Jimmy T. Josh Thompson. James Thompson's very good around this circuit, I can tell you that. But Josh Thompson's likewise, he's up the order, 15 places gained, but he's up into 6th place.
Yeah, great job by Josh Thompson. And he's trying to get past Kim Stevens. And he has done that indeed. So Stevens, the resistance not particularly high from him. He'll just be hoping to get the good points on Steve. Although these two have a bit of banter with each other, don't they, Kip and Josh? So I wonder if there might be some banterous action on the track, and I don't use that word very often. So that you can record that and put that on tape if you like. Now Thompson going through Druids. Yeah, he's just about clear, isn't he? It's good stuff. It's only 0.4 of a second at the front as well, and Cooper sets another fastest lap then. 132.23, and Cooper started in 10th in this one, Adam, so it's been a fantastic job by the Automate driver.
Good job by him. 5 places gained for Tim Grevin in this one, as everybody flies past the camera here. Now into Hawthorn Bend. Grevin just 0.2 of a second away. Let's see if he is able to keep up with him through here. He was able to stay right onto the boot lid of Jason Cooper through the Indy section of the circuit. Now through the Grand Prix loop, through the trees and whatnot. Flying down Dingledale up to Sheen Curve here. This very tricky right-hander, blind on entry. There you go, flying through the right-hander. And the gap's still remains around 3 or 4 attempts. Now Stirling's Bend, where it's pretty much one line through there, excuse me. And the gap has now just gone back up a little bit to 0.4 of a second. So looks like for the Indy section, Grevin is able to stay right with him. It's just through these final few corners where Jason Cooper is just able to stretch his legs a little bit.
Yeah, it just seems to be slightly better in that section of the track. But Grevin, he's just set the fastest lap of the race. He's not giving up whatsoever. And that's no mean feat as well, considering that some of the drivers in this series. Looking at Thompson again, he's although he's just at the fastest lap now, yeah, 0.2 quicker than the lap of Tim Grevin. Sorry, 1/10 quicker. I'll get the words out eventually. Wide goes Jack Styles.
Yeah, it's going to be a place for Josh up the inside. Surtees Bend. There is the Tech Centre Star Motorsports car. I don't think he's going to be able to get around the outside there, so that's Thompson through up into 4th. Styles might fancy his chances up the inside into Hawthorns because he's right on the rear of Thompson's car. Is he going to go for it? He thinks about it. Oh, he's slight, but he's almost into Hawthorn Bend there.
You have to really be brave to make a move up the inside there if you're not alongside. And Jack Styles, well, he won that top 5 position. He's only half a second ahead of Kip Stevens. He's got some good pace out there.
Got to feel for John Roberts as well. He's in 3rd place, and Josh Thompson's coming at him with 3 minutes to go.
John Roberts, well, he'll be wanting that podium finish, but we'll see if he can hold off Josh Thompson. Well, he can get his elbows out, John Roberts, when he wants to, I tell you, but to see what he's got in mind here. As they go over the line to start lap 13. We should have 2 laps to go here. Thereabouts. I think it will be. What's happened there? That's Matt Bunn.
That's Nicky Meredith.
Meredith, yeah. It's been an eventful one for Meredith, that's for sure.
Daniel Nash is in the pit lane as well. I hope everybody avoids that car just as we go to the replay as a whole barrage of cars arrive on the scene. Here we go. Meredith's behind Bunn here. Into clearways. Oh, he just clips the left rear.
Yeah, and then he goes off into the. Oh, does he wait for him? He waited for him. It's fair play by Meredith. He's waited for Matt Bunn there. Good sportsmanship. I hope everyone avoided him, yeah.
Well, they had to check up there, didn't they? Right. We return to live action. Here's John Roberts then. This is Josh Thompson. Round the outside goes Josh at Hawthorne. He's going to have the inside line for Westfield though is John Roberts. If he can just break later than Thompson and wash him out wide, he should be able to keep the position. Thompson's trying to get the cutback, but he's not close enough, is he?
No, and he didn't really do a great job of the cutback there, Thompson, but Roberts was very late on the brakes, carried so much speed through the corner. I do love this section. I mean, it's really, really good and fast and flowing when you get it right. Roberts' job now is to stay right on the white line so that Thompson doesn't get any ideas into clearways. Oh dear. Now, we have spent time with both of these gentlemen, and one thing's for sure, they won't want to give this up very easily at all, but in fighting, they might let Jack Styles or Kip Stevens back in. And Thompson, has he got this overlap this time? No, he hasn't. Roberts experienced in this league. And he manages to, again, push Thompson out wide, but this time Graham Hill bends upon us. Oh, they make contact. They'll be lucky if there's not any broken suspension there between the two of them. And Hans Thompson, I think his suspension might be all right. I think he's just weaving across the track to try and stop the assault of Jack Styles. John Roberts has gone off. I wonder if that is damage to the boosted car.
And Jack Styles was pushing Thompson through 30's bed. Where on earth is Tim Stevani going? He's off all over the place.
He is a rally driver.
In search of 5th place, the rallycross circuits here. I don't think we're using it today. We're just checking, going into Hawthorne.
Stevani got the wrong circuit map then, but he's going well in 6th place. The Germany started in 17th place, and the checkered flag's going to come out any moment now. And is it going to be Cooper or is it going to be Greven? I think it's going to be Jason Cooper. He's got a 3/4 of a second lead here, and he's just got to negotiate clearways, and then the pit lane, the pit straight for the final time. So over the line he comes. Jason Cooper for Automech takes the win in round 2 of the day in the ARLTCR.
Thompson's going to get a little bit of the bubbly with 3rd place. In fact, it's all the top 3 are all pro drivers. Only 2 of them started inside the top 12 for race 2, and it's a complete wipe out at the podium from them. Jack Styles 4th, Stevens 5th, Barrable 6th, Tim Stevani in the end in 7th, then Roberts in 8th. That's a shame for him. Sutherland 9th and Holman in 10th. Drag race across the line between Bunn and Balfour and Williams.
Very, very close there, and I think that one went to Matt Bunn. Yeah, it did, and then Balfour and Williams were the closest ones. 2/100ths of a second. Alex Neller will be very, very happy indeed, as the bubbly count has been activated for the first time tonight, and now the second time, I guess. Cooper taking the win though. How good is it to see Automech coming in and winning races here?
Yeah, and it's a much needed victory for Jason Cooper. Things hadn't gone too well at Road America, and likewise at the start of race 1. But the reverse grid was a helping hand to Jason Cooper. He started in 10th place and was able to coolly work his way up through the field, and he had the lead shortly after the halfway point. So he'll be very happy with that. Championship is back on track for him.
Yeah, and that's all important coming into the last few rounds of the regular season, of course, before the showdown. And we're just waiting for a couple of drivers to make their way back to the pits, and then we'll be able to get the results ready for you.
Yeah, Daniel Nash was the last car across the line there. He came into the pits for a little while. I think it might have just been to serve a meatball flag, and he was back on his way. And here are the results, and I can see him. Jason Cooper wins by 0.8 of a second. Josh Thompson in the end on the podium, so a good bit of silverware for Craig Setup Shop. It might not have been the win, but a 2nd and 3rd place trophy to put into the growing trophy cabinet. Jack Styles in 4th, highest AM driver in the end, with Rob Barrable 5th, Tim Stevani 6th, John Roberts 7th, Rob Sutherland 8th, James Holman 9th, and Jack Sedgwick completing the top 10. 11th for Ben Palmer, then Scott Malcolm, David Von Breck, Peter Dempsey there in 14th place, Steve Berridge 15th, Ross McFarlane and Michael Evdoka, the 2 TechSense Fitstyle teammates there. Then Wojciech Svidovic in 18th place, and the top 20 rounded out by Luke Cooper and Jamie Rushworth for CQR Pure Sims. 21st for Jake Blackhall, 22nd for Adam Hadfield, despite the Automet cars having several excursions in the midfield during the race. That was Matt Bunn. He was ahead of Ross Balfour by just over a tenth. Ross Balfour in turn was just 200ths of a second ahead of Craig Williams. Nicky Meredith 26th, 27th for Adam McNally. Dave Baker, we saw him off at Graham Hill Bend, or finding his way back onto the circuit at Graham Hill Bend. He finished in 28th place. Kevin Carlisle off at Westfield Bend 29th. Nathan Davis, he was off at Sheen 30th. Damien Harris 31st. 32nd for Mark Johnston. Rob Graham off at Druids early on. He finished in 33rd. Pete Harrod 34th place. Simon Fields was involved at Druids on lap 1. He finished in 35th place. Paolo Preto went for a wild ride at Paddock Hill Bend, spun in front of the field, and got collected by Mark Woodhouse, I think, early on. He finished in 36th place. Bram Clace 37th. Michael Bick 38th. 39th for Adam Hedgecock. And Tyler Vickery in 40th. Not sure if into Kip Stevens. And I think by his time, I think he might have got a slow down penalty somewhere and didn't serve it.
Yeah, because you get a 45-second penalty usually, don't you?
I did wonder why the top 10 were all up a place. Yeah, I think that might
he was
be...
about 14. He was about 15 seconds off. Let's have a look. Yeah, because he finished 5th according to the timing. But yeah, he must have got a bit.
Matt Sporgat in 42nd. Either that or maybe he didn't serve a meatball, I don't know. Daniel Nage 43rd. And then the cars that didn't finish. Sean Gardner 11 laps down. Paolo Bremer. Ash Sutton picking up the colossal damage to his car when he hit somebody side on the run up to Sheen. And then, yeah, Mark Woodhouse, the car that could not see Paolo Preto through all those Audis and went flying into the back of him, I believe. So, yeah, he finished in 47th place.
Yeah, so, an eventful round again at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. And there'll be still one more to go, so don't go anywhere if you're watching here on the iRacing Esports Network or on Apex Racing TV. We've got the reverse grid wheel coming up, so Sam, if you can do the honours for us, please.
Yes, sure I can. Let's see if we can get another big one. And it is spinning, and we will get... It is 35.
35, that is Simon Field. So he's going to be on pole for the third and final race of the day. Pete Harrod will be starting alongside him on the front row. And then it's Rob Graham, Mark Johnston and Damien Harris completing the top 5 for race 3.
All right, well, we'll see that one then when we come back after the break here on the iRacing Esports Network when the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship continues. as the sun sets at Brands Hatch. Our coverage of the ARLTCR Championship meeting comes to an end with this race 3 here on the iRacing Esports Network. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath and Sam Kumo on the cameras as Apex Racing TV brings you all the action from the final round of the day. Adam, the reverse grid race was something, wasn't it, to behold? There was all sorts going on. Great battles for the lead, some accidents, some really, really good and clever close quarters driving, shall we say. And we're hoping for more in race 3.
Well, yeah, I think the drivers have realised that overtakes around here are exceptionally difficult, so they're going to have to get a bit creative, and we've seen some brilliant ones around the outside of quite a few corners, so looking to see what they've got their sleeve for this one. It's another intriguing reverse grid for race 3. Simon Field starting on the pole, Pete Harrod in seconds, then Rob Graham, Mark Johnston, Damien Harris, then Nathan Davis, Kevin Carlisle, Dave Baker, Adam McNally and Nicky Meredith completing the top 10 there. Watch out for Ross Balfour as well, he's starting in 12th, so he's not too far away from mounting a potential charge to the podium. Wojciech Savidovic 18th, Peter Dempsey in 22nd place, Turn 3 Motorsport usually do tend to get a podium in one of the races that we have during the race meeting, and there you can see the winners from race 2, Thompson, Grevin and Cooper starting in the low 30s, so everybody's all jumbled up as they usually are in the third and final race, and we'll have plenty of battles to watch out for over the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask, isn't it, for the likes of Jason Cooper. We'll see what happens here then. Simon Field, former race winner, former title contender, as is Pete Harrod on the front row. Let's see then, 4 5 lights. The lights are off and the race is on. Race 3 of the day underway. Poor start by Johnston off the second row, did not get away that well, but Field did a great start from pole. He's miles in front of Harrod going into Paddock Hill Bend. Johnston having to defend then from Baker, as Baker trying to make his way through. Nathan Davies is in there, we know he's got decent pace as well. Kevin Carlisle's been shoved onto the grass going into Druids. It's all considering up, it's like a Newton's cradle in there, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction, of course, so if you hit someone in this, Adam, expect to get hit back. Oh, there goes a turn 3 car.
Oh yeah, that is Peter Dempsey, so not the start that he would have wanted, neither the start that Paolo Pareto wanted. It looks like he might be out of the race already, at least according to the time on the screen anyway, but here we go onto the straight. Pilgrim's Drop, Hawthorne's the weights for many of these drivers. And it looks like Simon Field continues to lead Pete Harrod, then Rob Graham. Field is off the circuit potentially, and it looks like Harrod's up the inside. Harrod up the inside into Westfield Bend, and it took, what, half a lap? And Pete Harrod is through to the lead.
Yeah, great stuff by Harrod. Simon Field's experience, but he could not hold back the CQR car that time, but the CQR club car, that is, of Pete Harrod. Now, Field will be looking to stay with him, I'm sure, throughout, as off onto the grass goes Nathan Davies, and that allows Dave Baker to come through. Baker slots in front into clearways, and that's he up into 4th place, David Baker.
Yeah, this reverse grid helped him out nicely. Finished 6th in race 1, finished towards the rear in race 2, but the reverse grid has helped him. Up the inside there is Mark Johnston. It's dark green on light green here. It's the battle of the greens. It's going to be Mark Johnston. It's going to come out on top. Surely he's clear by the time they get to Druids.
Ireland versus Wales, and again Carlisle's on the grass going into Druids, and that's really caused a mess.
Yeah, Balfour getting absolutely almost T-boned in the side. You can see the damage that he's picked up as a result of all that.
Oh yeah, and it looks, is he crabbing slightly, Ross Balfour? I'm not sure that car's entirely running. Oh, I think that's crabbing, Adam. We'll have to see when we get on the straight, but oh, and that's Rushworth.
Oh, there's many cars off. That's one of the Team Ad cars off. That's the Simtech car of Rob Sutherland.
Roberts, it was off, I think, and
oh dear, that
Berridge.
Oh my goodness me!
That is a huge one. Huge crash. Massive. I think that's going to be a safety car.
Massive one there.
Quite a safety car. I don't know. Is it cleared?
It's your call, I'd say. Looks like. Goodness me. Well, let's try and pick our way through this. Michael Blake. There's a CQR Pure Sims card there. That is Jamie Rushworth with the purple mirrors. Bob Barrable off. Jack Styles out. Tim Grevin. Jason Cooper, championship leader and race 2 winner, out. Michael Blake, goodness, what a huge wreck. Here we go. Well, it started off with one of the CQ. That's Jamie Rushworth rejoining the circuit. And the turn 3 car got turned into it by. Was it
that's
teammate
honestly
on
one
teammate?
No, I think it was a what were they called? Pure Sim, CQR Pure Sim car possibly that ended up hitting the wall. I think it was Rushworth who ended up in the wall on the left, as we say. That's one of the biggest crashes I've ever seen on iRacing. They just about got it cleared, and they didn't block the track completely.
There's Rushworth back
Have
in
a
the
look
pits.
at this. Look at this incident. Look at the Jesus. Look at the contact there. That's huge. I pity those with direct drive wheels on that one. Wow.
Got many
Look
risks.
at the state of that. Whose car is it there? I know the race is still going on, but I think it was James Holman's car. It was absolutely. I've never seen a car destroyed that badly on iRacing. Wow. Now, if there's ever a showcase of the new damage model, there you go, boys. We've just done it for free for you.
Yeah, I did used to watch a few compilations of iRacing wrecks back in the day, but they hardly had the force that one had.
Oh, that was genuinely startling. That was like I was watching a real world race, and that almost got me out of my seat with sort of how shocking the impact was there. So in a way, good job.
Rob Graham
Wow.
into the pits. Pete Harrod continues to lead here. Dave Bacon out to third after all of that's shaken through. Johnston fourth, Davis fifth, McNally, Williams, Wojciech Savinovic up into 8th place now, and then Jake Blackwell and Nicky Meredith completing the top 10 here. And the funny thing is, in the world of sim racing like this, these guys are going to go onto the Pilgrim's Drop straight in a minute, and it'll be as if nothing will have happened. Maybe a few remnant tyre marks, but that'll be about it.
I'll be honest, that's the only reason. And we, full disclosure, we. Oh my word, what is going? Just as I was about to do it. Yeah, full disclosure, we do have. Oh, that's Carlisle, and he's having a nightmare in this third race. Really not going well for him. Yeah, the only reason I didn't throw the safety car, to be honest, was because it did get. The track wasn't really blocked. Cars could go through, and they did get it cleared quite quickly. So I think. Yeah, that's my reasoning for it anyway. Agree or disagree, who knows? But that's the duties we've been given, Adam, I guess.
Yeah. Use it. We try to use it sparingly. I think we've only the yellow that we threw last week. Oh, this Hadfield goes for a drift and collides with Palmer.
The yellow that we threw last week was because there were 20 cars stationary and nobody could go anywhere. So yeah, that was my goodness. But I tell you, I think one thing that would be interesting. Oh my word, that's a big one as well. That's Van Brugge. That's David Van Brugge. As Wojciech Savinovic sets the fastest lap. And actually that's Dave Baker taking second away from Simon Field. So Dave Baker, he's got half a shot of the win here if he can catch Pete Harrod. But can he catch Pete Harrod? That's the question. I was going to say, Adam, I wonder what your thoughts are on this. It'd be interesting if some of that debris would have to be, stay on the track or would have to be cleared away, and then maybe that's when you get a true sort of safety car situation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I wonder if that could be something iRacing will put in the future. Most of the time, debris just does despawn after a while. That's why the track looks so clean now. You wouldn't have known it. Such a big
unreal crash. The marshals were thinking, those marshals that were talking to each other on the side of the road earlier on, they'll be thinking, we have to get a bigger broom.
Got a sweep. McNally there.
Yeah, you've got 1 minute to clean all this away, lads. Good luck.
Well.
Wojciech Savinovic is on the grass going into Dingledell, and that was very nearly the end of him, but he managed to survive. Good work by Savinovic that time. Nathan Davies still going well in 7th place. Craig Williams in 8th. Jake Blackwell, we've seen him in the top 10 again. Oh, Meredith, what's happened to Meredith?
Oh, it might have been off at Sterling's, I reckon. There you go. He's trying to, please let me back in my lane. And there he is, getting into 19th place behind Ben Palmer. It's Stabani and his turn 3 colleague Peter Dempsey that's going at it.
Yeah, that was. So who did we lose in that? We lost
Styles, Greben, Cooper, Malcolm, Holman, Blake.
I think that's it. Well, I
yeah.
think Blake might have been, Blake was gone before that, I think. So yeah, we lost 5 or 6 drivers there, and a few drivers had damage.
Rushworth continued, but yeah.
Yeah, he may have a meatball though. He who knows if he can make it to the end. Excuse me. Oh, as this is Dempsey versus Stabani, and the German flying up the inside in Surtees Bend, and Dempsey manages to use that momentum to just stay clear in the turn 3 car. We're on board with the independent now, Stabani, and we're on board now with Adam Hedgecock, who's looking at the same driver just from the back. To Hawthorne, brilliant corner. This is a great section. Can we stay on board through this section? It's a fantastic section. You really cut the curve hard. You get on the power very, very early. You fly down through Sheen Curve and then up into the right-hander at Dingledale, and you turn in very early, because the earlier you turn in, the more track you have to work with on the outside. It's a really well-designed corner. And then into Stirling's Bend, and Adam Hedgecock's got a great run on Stabani.
Getting around the outside of clear waiters. And
oh, there he goes! That's going to be a big one for Stabani, and he goes into the barriers. And that could be curtains for the German. Can he still drive the car? Is he still going? He's still going to try and go at least.
That was almost identical to what happened to David von Bruck a lap ago, and he's out of the race now. So I hope Tim Stabani is going to be able to continue, because look at the rear end of that car.
I think Van Broek's car was. I think he went in more. Oh, I think he damaged the wheels, didn't he? Though Van Broek, I think the way he went in.
Jake Blackwell
was quite lucky. I think he went in like absolutely, perpendicular, right with the back of the car, maybe.
Here is Jack Sedgwick. He's ahead of Josh Thompson, who's gained 20 places in this one since finishing on the podium in race 2, and he's got a pretty good view at Sedgwick, trying to get by Matt Bunn here.
Yeah, and Jack Sedgwick, oh, look at that. Look how he fires the car into Hawthorne Bend under braking very, very late indeed on the brakes. They're going wheel arch to wheel arch now. Bunn really trying his best to stay alongside Sedgwick, but he cannot do it this time. And Bunn has to go into line. He very nearly loses the rear as he goes through Dingledale, but well held. And Thompson, very sensibly, Adam, just holding back, just seeing what happens in front. And now he might decide, now that they've finished battling, he might try and make this move on Matt Bunn.
Yeah, Thompson's eager to get points on the board and qualify for the showdown, and he's done that so far today. We're getting on a podium in race 2, and here he is in race 3, potentially in with a shout at getting a top 10. Thompson and Bunn have raced together. They were at the 24-hour karting event that I was at last year, and look at this fight. This is Jake Blackwell, who was off of Graham Hill Bend trying to get by Ben Palmer, and he's got he's got turn 3 motorsports knocking at his door.
Yeah, and what happened there to Blackwell, he was getting bump drafted down the straight by Meredith, I think, and that seemed to unsettle him into Paddock Hill Bend. That was the idea, I believe. It worked out well for Turn 3 Motorsport. Now, look at that on the inside. That's Adam Hadfield with the crinkled front on the Automech car. He's side by side with Matt Bunn, and what can he do? Michael Evdoka just behind. Thompson's gone, so Thompson's taken Bunn on this lap.
Evdoka getting up, Thompson's off in the process, there he goes. I know, who's that in the CQR? God, that's Ben Palmer trying to get by Hadfield into Westfield Bend. Oof. Oh, someone's off in a big way. That was Kevin Carl. Oh, that's off on a Turn 3 Motorsports car. That's Nicky Meredith off again.
Meredith! Oh, big one for Meredith. Yeah, he's done well to get that off the racing line. Well done. He's going to go back to the pits. I think he's done, and I think there's too much damage there for him. Dave Baker sets the fastest lap. He has got the lead down to half a second. So I think soon we're going to have to divert our attention to the front of the race. And here it is, Adam. This is a scrap between a former champion and a former Club Series champion as well in Pete Harrod.
Yeah, Harrod won it twice, the Club Series, a Kia championship that was run on a Sunday night for a few seasons. Which you won in, which I won in as well.
Yeah, you did. Charlotte Road Course?
Yes, it was Charlotte Road Course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2
Laguna
wins.
Seca and Brands. Yeah, was it?
Yeah, Laguna Seca and Brands Hatch, there you go. Did lead the championship at one point. That's the last time I've led the championship in anything. But that was all these years ago.
In fact,
it was a good series.
Our victory in the Nürburgring 24, our class victory in the Nürburgring 24 hours weekend, I think was my first road victory in the best part of 2 years.
I think your last road victory was the same time as mine. I think it was those Ferraris at Suzuka, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, after 2017 or whatever.
That was a long time ago.
Pete Harrod, though, he's not too worried about
Pepperidge
that.
Farm remembers anyway, don't they?
Well, Dave Baker then. It's been a while since he's had as good a race meeting as this. He finished 6th in race 1. Race 2 may not have gone totally to plan, but here he is again in race 3, and he's within a third of a second of getting past Pete Harrod, and he's got a bit of time still to do it. It's a 90-second lap, and we've got 6 minutes to go here. And last time around, he was another 0.2 of a second quicker than the race leader, who's pretty much led every single lap of the race. It was Field on the pole, wasn't it? He managed to lead the first half, maybe 2/3 of the lap, and then Harrod has been leading ever since.
Now, these two are not technically teammates. Harrod drives for the CQR Club team, Dave Baker drives for the CQR Pure Sims team, but as the name would suggest, they are stable mates. So, it does remain to be seen whether they're actually going to have a battle or not, as all hell seems to be breaking loose in the midfield. But we're going to stick with this lead battle at least for the next few corners, because it looks like Baker's getting closer and closer, trying to put that pressure on, trying to unsettle Harrod into force him into a mistake.
Up to Shinko we go again. With a right-hander. Oh, you see how much curb on the inside Dave Baker takes there. I think you have to properly abuse those curbs if you want to pick up a slowdown penalty at all. Yeah, this circuit
you also have to. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's probably one of the more forgiving circuits on the iRacing calendar for slowdowns.
But you do have to abuse the curbs to get a good line through there and to carry as much speed as possible. It's a fine line on this track, as we've seen people get penalised for slowdown penalties today. Lap 11 then here at Brands Hatch, third round of the day in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship.
I think we'll be getting PTSD at the track we're going to next week, because it's the Nürburgring.
Is it the GP or the?
It's the GP circuit. Thank heavens. We'll be able to tell you every gear for each corner probably.
We can. Yeah, we'll provide some specialist analysis, even though the guys on the track are probably much better than we are. As Balfour versus McNally through Graham Hill Bend, and this could be quite tasty, I reckon. McNally, he's not a shy retiring type, and Ross Balfour is in as an independent, and he always just likes a good scrap, so we'll see what he can do. And look at this now, the first challenge for the lead from Baker. Let's see if he can cook up something interesting. Up the inside. Oh, he'll be getting a nosebleed. He's so high above 6th place, Dave Baker, but here he comes. I'm amazed actually, Adam, I'm amazed he didn't win the title in season 6, to be honest, but side by side with Harrod into Sterling's Bend. My voice is going, but it's all right because this is a terrific battle. And Baker gets a great exit from Sterling's, and into clearways he comes.
Oh, nice.
And Harrod, lovely move. Yeah, lovely stuff.
Great defensive driving there by Harrod. Each corner that they went into, I thought that was surely going to be the moment where Baker stamped his authority down and got the position. But Harrod, he's proving his worth in these touring cars, and he's managed to keep Baker at bay for another lap at least. We've got 2 laps to go, including this one. Simon Field remains in 3rd place, so I don't think they're going to be troubled by him in the remaining 2 laps. They're 3 seconds ahead of him, and it's going to be a flat-out fight between these two for the race win. And it was brilliant defensive driving by Harrod, as we've been saying, through the back loop section of the circuit, which they're about to go onto again now.
As the sun, it is the sun, gets lower and lower in the sky here at Brands Hatch. The sun is also setting on this race meeting. We've just got 2 laps to go then. Also here at Brands Hatch, who's going to take the win and who's going to take the advantage here between Harrod and Baker? So Pete Harrod then in the yellow CQR Club car, Dave Baker in the white, blue and black CQR Pure Sims car.
That was good by Harrod there. I thought he was going to totally defend all the way into Westfield then, but he saw that Baker wasn't going to get alongside and just went back to the racing line. Otherwise, he could have lost quite a lot of time there.
Yeah, and if you get offline in one corner, it really stifles your momentum. And look, speaking of momentum, Baker's got he did have a lot of momentum, but he went slightly onto the grass, and that took away some of that speed. He would have had Harrod slide in the rear of the car. It doesn't look like he's got quite as much rear grip as Baker does at the moment. He moves across to the white line, Adam. There's just centimetres between he and disaster as he holds the inside into Paddock Hill.
Final lap then, white flag is out. He's covering the inside line, that's all he needs to do. Baker's going to try and get the cut back up the inside into Druids, but Harrod's got the tyre grip still to keep the inside line firmly closed, and he's going to try and nudge his way through the Druids hairpin.
A little bit of the nudgy. Oh, on the inside, he's going to surprise him into Graham Hill Bend. But is the surprise going to pay off? Not quite this time. Good effort.
Received and understood, I think that surprise was by Pete Harrod, but it didn't really lead to much. And Dave Baker, the overtaking opportunities are starting to run out. I think he's going to have to try and get something done through this loop section, or maybe try another surprise move into clearways.
It was a lovely bit of driving indeed by both through that very, very good section, and through Westfield then for the final time. They plunge down the hill. It's funny how we've talked about Hill versus Hopkins. It's a yellow car against a blue, white and black car. It's identical to what happened in 2011 in the British Superbike Championship. But here comes Pete Harrod then. He's just got a car's length ahead of Dave Baker. Baker, what's he going to do here, Adam? Could he go outside? Could he go inside? What's the plan?
I don't think he's got much of his sleeve now. I don't think he's close enough to take the victory at all. A fantastic drive by Pete Harrod. It looks like he's going to come through and win it, surely.
Yeah, Pete Harrod then for CQR Club wins race 3 of the day at Brands Hatch GP. Brilliant stuff ahead of David Baker. Great drive by the two veterans. And here's Simon Field gets the bubbly in 3rd ahead of Balfour, and then it's Johnston in 5th. Great performance by him. McNally and Svidovic. Williams, McFarlane, and in 10th is going to be Jack Sedgwick with a good drive from 26th on the grid. Look at this battle.
Oh, here comes John Roberts and Mads Borger Andersen. England versus Norway here, and it's going to be Roberts. Never mind the bubbly. I think you might need some of the water. I think
a little bit of the throat sweets.
A little bit of the strepsils or whatever. I don't know.
Other cough sweets are, of course, available.
Roberts, 21st place, and here is our race winner, Pete Harrod. In the end, there was not much that Dave Baker, one of the most experienced men in the business, could do to get by, and it's a victory for CQR Club with CQR Pure Sim 2nd in Boosted, a podium for Boosted in 3rd place there.
Yeah, they'll be, of course, it's customary, we have to say it, they're going to be delighted with that one.
Especially Simon Field as well.
Elated, no doubt. Simon Field, yeah, on the podium here. And wasn't he... Now, I'm racking my brains here. Did he used to drive for Pete Newman Media, Simon Field?
He did, yeah. Yeah,
was he one of the ones who, when they got the 1, 2, 3 at this track?
Oh god, now you're testing my memory. Might have been. It was Newman, Burke, and...
Oh no, it might have been Steve Walker.
Oh yeah.
I think that was Steve Walker. If Pete Newman's hearing this, please tell us if that's right. I'm sure he's going to remember.
Looks like
on the YouTube chat or anything. Pete, give us a shout.
Looks like Simon Fields won the race back to the pit lane. He's already there. Dave Baker's just coming in now. And that's the end of a pretty breathless meeting. I was thinking during the race, that big crash that we saw on the run into Hawthorns, never mind safety car, I might have been scrambling for the red flag at that point.
They're gonna have to stop the race.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst. Yeah. Can we see the crash again, Sam, please? I thought it was great. Well, not great, but it was a feast for the eyes. Let's say.
A thought on the senses.
It was. It really was. It was. 1 minute you're sort of looking, and then the next minute it's all going to hell. We've got the results on the screen first of all. Yeah,
here we go. As we scramble back through the tapes to find it. Pete Harrod wins for CQR Club. Dave Baker just 1/10 of a second behind in the end. And Simon Field on the podium once again. It's not the first time it's been on the podium. It was probably one of these tracks back in the old BSRTC days. Probably when we first started, I think. Ross Balfour in P4. Mark Johnston 5th, Adam McNally 6th, Wojciech Savidovic 7th place. That's been an underrated performance by Woj here today. It might not have been a podium or a race victory for him, but he has been solidly in this top 18 throughout the course of the meeting. Craig Williams 8th, 9th for Ross McFarlane, and 10th for Jack Sedgwick. Nathan Davis, the Welshman, he didn't have the best of qualifying. He wasn't allowed to set a time, I don't think, in that, but he was able to get up to 11th here in race 3. Josh Thompson, I was hoping that he'd be able to get a top 10, but in the end he finishes 12th. That's still pretty good, to be fair. Michael Evdoka 13th, then it's Adam Hadfield, Ben Palmer, his teammate Jake Blackwell 16th, then Matt Bunn, who was in quite a lot of action in 17th, then Sean Gardner in 18th place. That completes the top 1.5 dozen. Damien Harris 19th place, 20th for John Roberts, Mats Borger in 21st, Lee Berridge 22nd, then Rob Sutherland, who was involved in a bit of action at Surtees Bend in the early going in the race in a Simtech racing car. Tyler Vickery, 24th place. That's a good finish actually by Tyler. He managed to avoid the mayhem at Hawthorne. Paolo Bremer was in the pits at the end of the first lap, but managed to finish 25th. 26th for Kevin Carlisle, who probably took one too many knocks during that one. Kip Stevens and Rob Graham, 2 teammates, 27th and 28th. 29th for Bram Clace. 30th for Rob Barrable, 1 lap down. Turn 3 Motorsport. I haven't had the best of race meetings today here. Not emulating the performances of the last few weeks anyway. There's Jamie Rushworth. I think he was one of the few survivors from the big wreck. Funny really, considering he was the car right at the front of it when it all happened. Tim Stabani, 3 laps down. He's the eye of the storm,
He was
really.
the first one in the wall, wasn't he, I think?
Yeah. Because we joined the replay when he was just recovering, and the whole world was arriving on his tail, really. Peter Dempsey, 4 laps down. Adam Hedgecock for Boosted Sim Sports, 4 laps down. Nicky Meredith off as well. Luke Cooper 2. Dave Von Breck, then Scott Malcolm 12 laps down. And here's some more of them. Jason Cooper out. I think he was one of the cars involved as well. Tim Greven for Craig Setup Shop. Jack Stiles, Michael Blake out. Mark Woodhouse, Daniel Nage, 12 laps down, and Paolo Preto out very early on too. So that's how they all finished in the final race of the day.
Yeah, breathtaking stuff in that final race. I have found the cough suite because I'm struggling a bit here, but we're going to get the
Here it is.
get the replay.
So Rushworth was very slow, and then it's 2 turn 3 one turn 3 motorsports cars turns another into Rushworth, and then oh my goodness me.
Wow.
I don't know if they could collect that bridge or not. I don't know if that's a solid object, but
They were close to it. They
Yeah.
were very, very
I don't think
close to it.
iRacing probably thinks, we don't need to make that an actual object because
We
people
don't need to model the bridge.
Goodness me. So yeah, there's a Team Ad car. There's Daniel Nage. You can see the damage he's got at the bottom of your picture. There's the Craig Setup Shop car at the top of your picture. A mess really, and the Simtech car too. That must be then Simtech car. That's Sutherland's, isn't it? Yeah, he's getting going. Oh, and there's Temporary Motorsport car just carries on, and there's the marshals at the bottom of the hill, just watching. Get your yellow flags down, man.
I mean, yeah. What a crash! What a crash, dear me.
Well, we do have some victims of that crash that we will speak to in a moment, but I guess we've got to get our race 3 winner in to speak to in Dave Baker, I guess.
Yeah, why not? I think he might be happy. He might be happy for a change. He's the first one that we speak to. Dave, welcome.
Oh, hi there, guys.
There we go.
Hello, mate.
Sorry,
Hey.
wrong button. Listening to you on the broadcast.
That's all right. Well, us in absolute awe of that crash that took place in that race. It was an absolutely apocalyptic smash, that was. Well, P2, Dave, and must be very happy with that, really, considering starting 7th.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of
28th.
bittersweet ones, isn't it? You know, could have done with the win to get into the showdown, possibly, because my season's not been going great. I had the most fantastic battle with Pete there. I'm grinning from ear to ear right now. You know, he put up a really great fight, gave a lot of respect when we went side by side. We didn't have any stupid contacts or anything like that, and just had a really good race. So that's what it's about.
We mentioned a couple of times in the broadcast Hill versus Hopkins. I don't know if you're familiar with it from the Superbikes, but it was a yellow bike versus a white and blue bike, and that's what we had here with the two cars out there.
Well, yeah. So we tried to put on a good show. So yeah, as you said, we are racing for different teams, although we may be stablemates at times. There are no team orders. We're going to fight for those victories. We're not going to give them or anything like that. So I just hope I made Pete work for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll be very, very happy indeed with that one. You just edged him on the fastest laps of the race, but
that's because I had his draft. He was rapid. I think he'd struggled a little bit in some of the earlier races, but he definitely got it together by race 3 when it counted.
Yeah, and good to see. I guess from your perspective, good to see veterans like Simon Field up there doing well.
Yeah, that was cracking from Simon actually. So I know he's sort of come back recently after a bit of time out, and so to be up there on the podium still after that must be great for him.
Yeah, he's starting to
put the teeth back in.
Yeah, I will do, mate. I can't talk today. Yeah, he's gradually dialing that pace back in. I'm sure he'll be up there at some point. We head to the Nürburgring next time, and so the GP circuit is obviously a lot wider than here, and maybe slightly more forgiving, but still a test for the drivers.
Yeah, probably. As you say, a little bit wider, so the packs are going to get that little bit more dense as everybody goes for the corners and stuff like that. But hopefully,
turn one's going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, turn one's always going to be interesting there. A bit like the chicanes at Monza. So you definitely have to have your wits about you. I mean, when you've got grids as large as this, it definitely has the heart rate going at turn 1.
Amplifies the sort of the concertina effect, doesn't it? When there's 40 people instead of say 20.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're not just having to look at the couple of cars in front of you. You're having to look, 6 cars back in your mirrors at least, just to try and work out, has somebody lost it on the brakes, or is somebody diving? Has something happened in front that you're going to have to avoid in a couple of seconds? It's definitely a lot of concentration needed.
It's definitely hairy out there, but you did your best to come through.
You enjoy it.
Second place, a little bit of the bubbly and all that, and
exactly.
Exactly. And if you you know the drill, if you give the shout outs to your sponsors and your friends and family, whoever.
Yeah, so just give a shout out to Pure Sims. So check those guys out for all your simulator needs. To the guys at CQR, putting on a great race, great team. You guys for broadcasting, and all the guys running it behind the scenes for giving this league to run in.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much again for joining us, Dave. Always a pleasure, mate.
Yep, you too, guys. You take care of yourselves.
Cheers.
Yeah, well done. Cheers. I was watching that crash again. Yeah, while you were talking to him, I think Tim Greven lost all 4 wheels and that happened.
Well, like I say, I think it was James Holman's car that got the most destroyed in all that. We've got Adams found Jack Stiles, who was involved in quite a bit of the action in those races.
Yeah, Jack, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for stopping by. Race 2 was probably a highlight of the race meeting for yourself. It was looking good for the most part of the race. You were leading a few laps as well.
I put it down to highlight the season for that race. A pole from quite a poor race 1, so dead chuff for that. Got a good start, and everyone else was scrapping behind. So I was just like, right, well, I'm going to put my foot down and go for it in the opening laps, try and build a gap up. But when Tim and Jason got into 2nd and 3rd, I didn't quite have the pace to hold on. I've been struggling a bit this evening. The changes to the tyres haven't seemed to gel as well to them as maybe I should have done. We've had to play with the setup a bit over the course of the evening. But no, dead chuff with race 2. Really good fight with John as well for sort of 3rd and 4th position. Josh Thompson obviously got involved towards the end of the race and everything that happened on the last lap. But yeah, brilliant racing in race 2. Absolutely fantastic.
What's it like racing against some of those top guys? I know you're in the pro-am category and whatnot. You don't occasionally get to race with those guys at the front. So when these reverse grid races come around, it's quite a good feeling to be up against those guys.
Yeah, it is. The reverse grids that we've had so far this season, I haven't had that much luck with them. The highest I've been, I think, is about 15th or 16th, and I just end up going backwards and backwards because it's about where the quick guys things start coming through on about like 5 or 6 into a race, and you just haven't got the pace to hold them off. So to be up the front and have the chance to actually hold your own and show really what I can do is quite good. Loving this TCR car. It's absolutely brilliant.
In race 3, did you see much of that massive wreck, or were you involved in it? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'd quite happily say, since starting using VR a few months ago, that's the biggest accident I've had, having a car catapulted onto my windscreen. That was interesting. It scared me a bit, actually, to be honest. But yeah, that was a big accident.
Scared us?
I didn't quite... Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened to start off with, and after it happened, I was in a bit of a shock. The car was meatballed after that. I didn't even try getting it back to the pits. I just towed. But I know afterwards there was contact with a couple of the Team Mag cars, and which I apologise for. And yeah, that was a bit of a messy start to race 3, if I'm honest. It just seems as though everyone was trying to get into the same spot on the track, and there wasn't enough track space to do it. Brands Hatch, especially on that Grand Prix loop, it's a tight circuit, and going 3-4 wide at the best of times isn't really the best idea, if you ask me. But no, good racing all evening.
Yeah, I'd probably say I think we were saying that was probably one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen on iRacing at that point.
No question. Visually shocking. In terms of, because like we said, we've seen big crashes on this service for years and years and years. They've never really had the visual impact that one did. That one really shocked me.
I wasn't quite sure who landed on me, but I know for a fact they landed on my bonnet. And yeah, it was a big accident. I'll give them that. It was interesting. It's the biggest one I think I've ever been involved.
Well, next week is the Nürburgring GP circuit. I don't know, did you take part in the 24 hours at the weekend?
I didn't do the 24 hours. I decided to do the major series, the World 600 instead. But
I did, to be fair. Yeah.
I did a VLN. I did the first round of VLN, so got a little bit of experience on the Nordschleife. But the Grand Prix, not my best circuit, I must admit. I do struggle a little bit there, so I know we've got a week off next week, so putting a lot of time into that, getting the setup refined, and sort of getting used to the changes on these tyres.
I think I found out who landed on your bonnet.
Go on.
And I think, hold on, just trying to figure it out. It was, hold on, I'm not very good at this. There we go. It might have been Craig Williams, possibly.
Ah.
Was it Craig Williams?
Oh no, I think it might have been Tim. I think Tim Grieven was in that.
No, it was Tim. Yeah, that was it.
No wonder he lost all 4 wheels.
Is Craig Williams' face coming towards you at 100 miles an hour?
I spent most of today around Tim Grieven, to be honest. We had some good battles. We made contact in race 1. I was around him in race 2, and he decided to land on my bonnet in race 3. So we've become quite accustomed to each other.
That was a big one, though. But yeah, glad you enjoyed the race anyway. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries. I saw someone in the YouTube chat asking if we could have an overhead shot of it. Jack, well done. Before we let you, especially for race 2, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Yeah, to our sponsors, a massive shout out to TechSense and Renval. We couldn't do what we do at the moment without them. The support they give us is absolutely brilliant, and the work they do is brilliant as well. Also to Demon Tweaks, to fight colorectal cancer, and also to everyone else at Fitstar Motorsport. Ross and Michael have been great all season for me. Didn't have much experience in this car, and I've sort of jumped in, and they've been really helping me. They've been helping with the setups and everything. So just everyone at Fitstar Motorsport, all our sponsors, a brilliant team. Can't be prouder of them, and they do me proud week in, week out.
Well done on race 2, and hopefully everything goes well for you in a couple of weeks when we are back in action at the Nürburgring.
Thank you very much, and thank you for you guys putting on a good show.
No worries. Good to speak to Jack Styles there. We've got we've got Josh Thompson and I believe Mark Johnston left to talk to us, I believe. So we'll rattle through those and before we go.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and get.
Lisa died, you know.
Let's go and get Mark into the commentary box. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Andrew. How are you, dear boy?
Oh, not bad, mate. Not bad. It was that was a good race for myself there. 5th place. Must be very happy with that.
The main thing that makes me happy is my pass on Nathan Davis, or I like to call him Trigger, from our university days. As long as I beat Trigger, you know, it means the world to me. There's only one person on the track for me, really.
Yeah, we saw you at side by side. He was giving you some stick after he managed somehow to win the other week.
Yeah, he flukes in a win every so often. Same used to happen at uni. He slept with so many women at uni that I'd lined up. You know, I even had to go at my ma. So, you know what I mean? I have to really, really give it everything to beat Trigger all the time, you know? You have to be ruthless in this world. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't really know how we're going to follow that one, to be honest. Even Josh Thompson can't follow that. So, I can't. Fifth place then. So you know, you're starting at the pointy end in the reverse grid race. You think it's going to be a bit chaotic. It must have got quite tightly packed at the start.
Well, I was just so happy to actually be up at the top end because the only qualifying session I've done so far, and justifiably my fault, I'm sorry to anyone I tapped or what have you along the way, I'm learning. The only qualifying session I did was Silverstone at the start of the season. So I really wanted to just get through tonight with a clean run and have a full clean run next weekend. To get a 5th is a bonus, and, you know, to beat Trigger, well, I'm going to go and have a large rum and coke and celebrate the fact that my nemesis got done over.
Well, that's it. A little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, absolutely, my dear boy.
Not wrong with that at all. Hey, well, give us a shout. I think are you running as independent this season?
I am indeed. Yeah, I'm running in my own team, Drive Doctors. I think next year we'll come a wee bit stronger. I might get my Welsh rival to join me so I can give him neutered setups. And we'll have a bit of fun next year, probably as a full team. But hey, it's all good fun. I enjoyed when I was with Sim Mortal a few years ago, but I've been busy last year, so I haven't been fit to commit to a team until now, sadly, because of this quarantine.
Yeah, I even did one race with Sim Mortal. I can't remember if you were driving that then or not.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, that's back in the good old days. Yeah, with Michael Blake, he's a star of a team manager, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd run back to any team he sets up, to be honest.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe you're asking for the contract while the getting's good on this 5th place.
Yeah, Michael, show me the money, dear boy. 60 G's, baby, 60 G's.
Hey, well, we'll have to leave it on that, mate. We can't, like I say, we can't do any better. Thanks very much for joining us, buddy. We'll catch you in the future.
I'm off to have some chicken wings and get drunk as. I'll see you later, boys. God bless. See you then.
One. Cheers.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got
to get the bleep machine out for that one.
Never mind, lock up your daughters, lock up your mothers. Jamie, Nathan Davis. I feel like...
I've heard some stories over the last 7 years, but that's one of the best ones. We've got Josh Thompson here. We're gonna have to try and get. Now, normally we don't turn to Josh Thompson for sanity, but he is here with Adam Bath.
Oh, Josh, welcome. And it was a pretty sane race meeting for yourself. You weren't involved in too many big collisions, and you got some decent points out of it in the end, especially in the final race. 21 places gained.
Yeah, if you could tell me I'd have a clean full 3 races this season, I'd have taken it at any point. So to have it now when I needed the points the most, I'm really chuffed, to be honest.
Did you drive in the TCR at the weekend in the Le Mans 24 in the Nürburgring 24-hour race?
No, in the R8 GT3.
Ah, right, okay, so yeah.
It was some sort of Audi, but not the right one.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, we've been put through the pain of that at the weekend. What was it like there racing with everybody else today? Because Brands, it's not the most overtake-friendly circuit, really. You've got to get a bit creative to get some overtakes done around here.
Yeah, to be honest, I had a EXQ, so obviously it kind of put me on the back foot, but also I kind of took it as a positive this week. Obviously, as you saw race 3, the big one when it happens is huge.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So at least with the EXQ, it kind of gave me a bit of a safety net for the race 1 to play with the reverse grids. Obviously, I'm outside the top 10 for the showdown. Obviously, a wild card, a win would be kind of nice. So obviously I had that in mind to play with that, but overall, even though I didn't get the win, I still came away 6th in the standings after today, like 6-hour score with an EXQ and 2 races starting from 40th. If you said that to me 24 hours ago, I'd have taken that.
Is it any difficult trying to get the cars off the line at this track? Because of course there's a bit of elevation change here at Brands, or is it just the same as ever really?
It's the same as ever. I was kind of fortunate, but all my races I was on the inside on a flat bit of track. So for me, it was okay. I think if you notice, you've looked up and down the grid, some people did have better starts than others and vice versa. But again, I think that's just because this car's got a very fine margin to get the car off the line. But I had no issues, to be honest.
Well, we're on a break next week, but after that, it's the final 4 race meetings before the showdown, starting off at the Nürburgring. Hopefully, you remember that circuit quite well. You'll be having to adjust the braking points from having driven the Audi GT3 to going into the touring cars now.
Yeah, Nürburgring GP, probably the only good part about that track for me, with the whole North Life section, the only time I was fast. But yeah, I think this car there will be really good. Obviously, again, it's going to be a tricky track to overtake. It's very misleading. You can easily outbrake yourself in turn 1 going for moves. The hairpin as well. So again, it'll be one of those meetings where you just got to stay out of trouble. But overall, I'm more confident there than I would be here and a few other tracks we've gone to this season.
I'll join the club. I think me and Woody both have struggled more with the GP circuit than we did with especially that insane first corner on the 24-hour layout. In the dark, we didn't know where we were going.
I think we should do that next week.
I'm hoping it's the full course and not that, because that
would be amazing.
Oh, you missed a couple of years ago.
This lot aren't going through. This lot aren't getting through. They're unscathed on the first lap with that corner. Dear me. Yeah.
Oh, Josh, before we let you go, as always, give us a shout out.
So first off to you guys for doing the broadcast, great as always. All the admins who run the RL, and obviously all the sponsors. So Craig for paying my entry, so Craig's Help Shop, and then obviously Williams Esports for allowing me to do this. So for them, Razor, Chill Blast, BenQ, Playseat, Fanatec, HG, One All Sports, and iLiveries.
Well done on, as you were saying earlier, probably one of your cleanest meetings of the season so far. There's some decent overtakes in there for you to go and watch back. So enjoy the week off, and yeah, we'll hopefully see you at the Nürburgring in a couple of weeks.
Thank you guys. See you later.
All right. Well, Josh Thompson there, and that pretty much concludes the meeting. Adam, it's always fun when we come to Brands Hatch, isn't it?
Oh yeah, same old action. Whatever car we're in, and just can't stop talking about that crash, can we?
Oh no, but that's a big one. That.
And yeah, well done to all of the winners. Of course, Jack Sedgwick getting a much needed win in race 1. Same too for Jason Cooper in race 2, because his form had dipped a little bit in recent weeks. And then yeah, a fantastic battle to end the evening between Pete Howard and Dave Baker. Dave loved it, even though he finished in second, and Pete Howard will be delighted to get a win too. So it sets us up nicely for a week break, plenty for us to reflect on. And then we're back off to Germany again for the Nürburgring and the start of a 4-week dash to the showdown.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. And well, we hope everybody's going to join us here. Thanks very much for watching tonight here on the iRacing Esports Network. Obviously, you know, as we say every time, we hope everybody's staying home, staying safe, and doing whatever they can. But from all of us here, from Andrew Woodhouse, from Adam Bath, from Sam Kumo, and everyone at Apex Racing TV, it's good night from the iRacing Esports Network. It's good night from the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship.